Hello and welcome to SBN Spotlight, a new series from Scottish Business Network designed to take an overview at some of the insights and opportunities across the world in 2026. Every week, we speak to experts from across the SBN network who share their insights into the opportunities on the ground in 2026. Each week, we'll see a focus on either a sector, a region, or an opportunity that you might not know about. This week's episode, we were joined by Jonny Downie, Managing Director of Barnton Park Group and our Ambassador in London.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So I'm Jonny Downie, founder of Barnton Park Group. We are a kind of boutique consultancy supporting growth and transformation for UK businesses. We have traditional consulting services, and also we're developing our own proprietary business intelligence platform for the UK's private markets, specific to kind of early stage and growth businesses.
And can you tell us a bit more about that intelligence platform?
Yeah, I mean, it was born out of need to create more time because I've got an 8-month-old at home now, and time is always a precious commodity, but even more so now for me. And we're looking at ways that we could actually automate and productize a lot of what we're doing. So the platform has a number of components to it. It's got a vendor marketplace. It's got a automated indicative business valuation assessment, which is kind of critical to a lot of the work that we do, particularly on that connection to capital piece. Getting a validated business valuation is so important, rather than kind of picking it out of thin air, which does sometimes happen. And alongside that, it has capital allocation planning. It has team analysis. You can generate investment memorandums from it, review your proposition, and also support with investor matching as well. So it's got a number of components to it, all aimed at helping founders through that growth journey, particularly with the connection to capital.
Well, just on that sort of growth journey and connected to capital, I wanted to sort of talk a little bit about the situation or the landscape that a lot of the clients you work with are in at the minute. And I wanted to start by asking if there's any sort of common challenges that your clients face.
Yeah, I think it's particularly looking more at the early stages. The challenges that they face is that it can be very overwhelming, the process. And
Yeah.
speaking to many founders over the years, it's that commitment to time and the administrative components that it comes as a bit of a shock. It's nice to have a fancy deck and send outreach, but have you actually built an effective strategy around that? So that's a kind of critical challenge to the client. So yes, okay, the business intelligence platform creates more time and automates a lot of our process, but also frees up time on the founder's side, and it acts as an educational tool as well. So there's a peer analysis component to it as well. So you can see what your peers in the industry have done before you and learn lessons and avoid those kind of pitfalls and mistakes that they might have made. But it's a big challenge right now because they need to focus on BAU activities, and layering on the fundraising component to that can often be very demanding and stressful.
So do you think that challenge comes from a lot of these founders maybe having a lack of experience in it, or is it a lack of understanding as to what investors are looking for? What do you think?
Yeah, lack of experience. I think there's a lot of sentiment out there that it's easy, and it's far from that. You look at the statistics, um, I think it's from seed to Series A level, only 7% of businesses are successful in
Wow.
achieving that. And that's a stark reminder of this isn't a foregone conclusion. So building a strategy um, is critical. What will you do, without the full funding? Is there ways to grow organically? How do you roadmap that out? Is kind of critical to understanding. And I'd say that's probably the biggest misconception, is that it's a foregone conclusion. So actually having alternatives and fallback options is really important to have, I would say,
Well, if
to
I,
not be disillusioned if you don't achieve the fundraising that you set out to.
yeah, but yeah, because like you say, 7% of companies are successful is, and I don't know why I'd always assumed it was higher. Of course, it can't be higher. That's not how it works. So you sort of call that a misconception, and that's one of the questions I wanted to ask. Do you see sort of common misconceptions from companies preparing for investment?
Yeah, I think it goes to that they think it's a certainty. That's certainly a misconception. And the other, misconception is that you can draw up a list of 500 investors and blanket email them. Each investor has different mandates, different criteria, sector focus. Some will be sector agnostic, but will be regionally focused. So there's all these different components that you've got to be aware of. And again, so just to answer your point more directly, the misconception is that um, all VCs are the same, all angels are the same,
Yeah.
all family offices are the same. Everyone will have their own unique mandates, and it's important to kind of do your research ahead of time, as not to not burn bridges, but be more efficient with your time, because it's already layering on to your business as usual day-to-day tasks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, you're right. Everyone will have their own operations with their own focuses and their own purposes and their own mission. And yeah, you're right. It would be a bit of a waste of time to assume everybody's got the one end goal. And as you say, the one thing I often hear is that there's plenty of money out there, right? And it's possibly a misconception of the fact that people are sitting there with it in their hand, going and waiting for the right person to come along. Do you find that as a common theme, or is that just me thinking that?
Yeah, look, there's certainly a lot of dry powder out there, in the UK market. I think what we're seeing now is a rebalance of validating that investment. I think we saw some fairly heady times after COVID, where there was war chests of capital to be deployed, and with some instances we saw little to no due diligence being taken place. Loads of M&A activity as well. Um, so the critical thing is, yes, there is a lot of dry powder out there, but you've got to have a validated business model. Just investing at the conceptual stage is really, really difficult unless you're a previously exited founder. Again, it's so nuanced. There's no kind of one size fits all kind of answer to this. But it's understanding that you validate your business through sales, through commercial traction. And I think that's more important than ever before, to accessing that capital and accessing the right capital as well.
Brilliant. So the next thing I just wanted to quickly ask you about was the opportunities that might be available. And as you say, coming out of COVID, people might have had a war chest, so there might be more to pick from. But in terms of now and the future, have you recognised any trends that companies preparing for investment should be aware of?
That's a really difficult one. I think the look the opportunities with AI are obviously very
That's what I
well,
was wondering. That's what I was going to lead into. Yeah.
yeah, well documented. But I would say ensuring that you've given it deep thought as well. So, understanding that just layering AI into your business. One instance is, business just using ChatGPT more, and they said, they're a hybrid tech consultancy now, and it's like it's it's got to be beyond that, because a lot of people are they have ChatGPT, but they're just using it as a search bar. They're
Yeah.
not using the kind of a lot of the core functionality, and it's like some Claude and Gemini as well. So like the opportunities I see is getting a deeper understanding of how it can really, really help your business. Um, the AI tools that are out there. I mean, one of the ones that I absolutely love is Lovable. So that's a prompt engineering application. So essentially, I had the idea for BPG InvestLink, the business intelligence platform, just before Christmas. And I'd been keeping an eye on Lovable for some time already, and there's obviously there's others out there, but I think it's pretty much best in class right now. Um, and I was able to take that concept and over the course of a week build a working proof of concept. And that's amazing. I'm not from a tech background at all. And so I think it's the opportunities out there. Maybe it's understanding what is actually out there. Like I was quoted 50 from a top end provider to build the platform up to £50,000, and I have built the MVP for, I would say, £750.
Oh wow.
So, the opportunities are explore what's out there, the likes of Lovable, and other platforms that are available. It's immense right now. A good friend of mine who's an editor in the entertainment world, he built his new website over the course of 2 days. Again, he was quoted like 10 or 15 grand, and he built it himself over. So it's like understanding what's out there. I'd say there's a huge amount of opportunity. Like a barrier now is no longer the cost component. A barrier now is maybe just understanding what's out there. Is it's super, super exciting.
Yeah. So would you say for a company who's taken your approach, would that reflect well for investors to say that they've taken this newest approach to really embed the tools available rather than, as you say, I use ChatGPT as a search bar, it gives us really good information. It's more, we found this way to cut costs and help us scale.
Yeah, because it's showing you're being assertive, and you're trying to find solutions. I could have conceptualized this and gone to market and raised a significant sum of money independently to build this. But again, it goes back to that validation. If I want to get a better investment partner, better strategic investment partner, having that validation of the platform ahead of those conversations is immensely important, and it puts you in a better position, gets you, more well aligned with the investor. So when we talk about a strategic investor, it's in the truest sense. So that's what I would say to that.
And in terms of other opportunities, would you say that there are any opportunities that you think people aren't really taking advantage of yet, or that more people should be taking advantage of?
No, I would say that those are the kind of the big ones right now, the big opportunities. There's others. I mean, I think there, asked me that a while back, or a good while back, and there'd be other areas that I would mention, but I think the macro climate right now is people have to be cautious because I mean you don't know what's going to happen from 1 week to the next. Almost it feels. I won't go down the political rabbit hole, but I mean it's crazy what's happening in the
Yep.
world right now, and I think there has to be err on the side of caution. So when you are exploring opportunities, just take you don't have to take any massive risks because it's risky enough out there without you rolling the dice on something else. But I would say the critical opportunity is understanding the AI tooling that is actually out there and could really, really help your business.
Brilliant. And in terms of if I was a founder right now and I was about to take that first step in thinking, I think that we should look for some investment, what advice would you have that I should do right now?
Use our platform. It's
Here we
amazing.
go.
No, I would say, look, yeah, like obviously the reason we built it is to help founders get better prepared and better alignment with investors and have more actionable discussions with them because you're not taking a pray and spray approach. But regardless of that, I would say look, just prepare your notes and your strategy um, well ahead of any outreach. And understand as well that mandates and criteria they are fluid.
Yeah.
So just keep a track of particular investors that stand out to you, whether that be individual angels or corporate VC. We're seeing the big rise in corporate venture capital
Mhm.
um, and the VC world and family office. So if you're preparing for it, I would just ensure that you take a multifaceted approach. Don't put all your it's a little cliche, but don't put all your eggs in one basket type thing.
It's still good
Um,
advice.
yeah, and understand it was even the likes of I spent the first 2 weeks of the year in Texas because I wanted to explore the landscape there, the different investor dynamics. Because I'd only previously been to Washington DC and New York, and wanted to understand what was happening in Austin because there's a lot bubbling there.
Yeah.
So understanding that expats, and this is the thing that we took away from that trip, expats are super keen to invest in UK businesses and have that kind of linkage to back home. So when you are preparing your investor strategy, do look global, particularly with, I would say, the US. They do have, again, this is just from the conversations that I had, they just have a less risk averse
Yeah.
approach to it. And it's not to say one's better than the other, but it's a different way of attacking and investment opportunities. So I'd say when you are preparing, think global. Do be brave and reach out to people in the US, people in Australia, Asia, etc. That would say nothing's off the table. Take that multifaceted approach.
And finally, Johnny, if anybody wanted to learn more about this or get in touch with yourself, where can they find you?
Probably easiest on LinkedIn. So just search me, Jonny Downie, or going to our website, barntonparkgroup.com, to find out a little bit more about the services we provide. We're getting a bit of a revamp on the website, so it should be ready in the next kind of week or so. But that's the best way is LinkedIn. I'm always checking out stuff on that, and always a pleasure to kind of connect with people and share ideas and opportunities.
Brilliant. Well, Jonny, thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you very much to Jonny for joining us, and thank you for watching our first episode of SBN Spotlight. This is a weekly series where we are going to be sharing these insights and expertise from across the network. So if you've got an insight and expertise you would like to share, please get in touch. You can catch new episodes every Friday on SBN Family and across Scottish Business Network's socials.